Hey guys, when you think of Lexus, you probably don't think of going overland or going off-road, but meet the brand new Lexus GX, and this is the Overtrail. Yep, that's right. It's an overlandy Lexus that now, well, can take you where the dirt road ends and the trail begins. Of course, you know that Toyota has the Tacoma TRD Pro, the new Trail Hunter, and now Lexus has this, the new GX Overtrail. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the top 5 things you need to know about this car in this world premiere video. Number 5, of course, has to be styling, especially this GX in this Overtrail trim. Let's call it Moab beige. I mean, look at it. It's just square jawed. It's aggressive. It's purposeful. It looks ready to go, well, to Moab. And not just look, but it also has the bits and parts that will make it overland or off-road worthy. And let's start with what's underneath. All right, I didn't think I'd live to see it, but look at this. We've got recovery hooks underneath the front jaw of this new GX. And more importantly, look at the front of this. If you remember the old one, and I have to be honest, I was one of the people who gave Lexus a lot of grief for this. Didn't have a very good approach or departure angle, but here, you are ready to take on whatever big rock is on the trail. Look at this. Toyo Open Country 33s. Yep, those are 33s. And look at the aggressive tread on these tires. Not only are they all-terrain, but I think they're quite handsome. Who would have thunk a Lexus with all-terrains? The world just keeps getting weirder. All right, we've worked our way down to number 4, and that's of course got to be what's under the hood. And unsurprisingly, or maybe surprisingly, it's a 3.4 liter V6 twin turbo that puts out 349 horsepower, but get this, 479 pound-foot of torque. Now, if that sounds familiar, a little quiz for you. Why does that sound familiar? Well, of course, it's because it's the same power plant that now powers the Tundra. And in fact, the new GX shares a chassis with the LX, which sort of kind of shares a chassis with the Tundra. So I'm kind of calling this a car, but really it might be a truck. Well, that is certainly a truck power plant. I wanted to give you a little chance to take in the side profile of the new GX because it is very square. And you know what? I love square. It's just very purposeful. Now, before we get to number 3, there's some good news and there's some not so good news. So let's start with the good news. The transmission is a 10-speed, which usually means it gets much better fuel economy. Now, the old GX got 16 mpg combined. The new GX, wait for it, 17 mpg combined. All right, we've worked our way down to number 3. So let's power this new GX up and see what the screen looks like. Now, I'm guessing that this is going to be the same new Toyota-based infotainment system that you see in vehicles like the Tundra and like many of the new Toyota products. And yes, I know this very well because we owned a Tundra, and it very much is. But immediately, I like the fact that we have a traditional volume knob. Thank you, Lexus, for not getting rid of that. Now, that's not number 3. What is number 3, of course, is just how many off-road goodies this vehicle has. So we've got different drive modes, which is pretty common. But then, of course, we also have crawl control, a tow haul button, and we'll get to that in a second. But come over here. Let me show you the goodie part. First, 4 high and 4 low. But yes, you see what I see? A locking center diff, and let me move my finger, a locking rear diff. I mean, there are very few luxury vehicles outside of a G-Wagon that are as chiseled and as off-road worthy as this new GX Overtrail. Now, of course, I'm talking about this one because, well, this is a new trim level and I'm super excited about it, but the interior of this is going to be very similar to the more luxurious and more traditional variants of the GX. All right, and speaking of drive modes, let me show you the ones that this one has. So Comfort, Eco, keep going, Comfort, Eco, Sport Plus, and Custom. So I don't see an off-road setting, but I can tell you that all of these buttons, especially the fact that it's got these lockers and 4-low, will make it about as off-road worthy as anything on the market today. And you know this is a serious off-roader because there's a compass. All right, we're down to number 2. Now, there will be a more luxurious version of the GX, which will tow just over 6,000 pounds. But if you opt for this one, get this, 8,000 pounds, which is just a little bit less, to put it into perspective, than our long-term Raptor R will do. So very impressive. And of course here you have your typical connectors. And if you look under here, there's a spare tire. And it's also an all-terrain. How cool is that? And then right here, more recovery points. So not only do you have front, but you have rear recovery points. I can't wait to see the first person to build this into something with a snorkel. Or no, sorry, desert air intake. This is Toyota after all. All right, we've worked our way down to number 1 now, and if you are going to go around the world or around the country, or let's just say somewhere for the weekend, you're going to need a lot of space for all your things. Now, the normal GX has a 3rd row, but there's a surprise. This one does not. So first and foremost, you can get to your stuff, in my case, a Bernese Mountain Dog, this way, or you can do it this way. And then, like I said, there's just oodles of room back here. I even think Blaze would be comfortable because in the Overtrail, there is no 3rd row. Just tons of space for things like, well, like Bernese Mountain Dogs. Look, a little kit back here as well. And check this out. There's even auxiliary power. If you need to power, well, maybe your coffee maker, or let's say you're really going to Moab, an air compressor so you can air up and air down. All right, you know, at TFL, we always like to do a bonus, and I was curious, can you actually sleep inside the new GX? And the answer is, I guess yes and no. So, give you a sense of proportion, I'm 6'2", and with the 2nd row folded down, I can lay down relatively comfortably in the back here, but because of this little lip, let me show you, you probably need some sort of a air mattress to make it a little bit more comfortable. But let's face it, if you've got the money to buy a Lexus GX, you've probably got the money to buy a rooftop tent, or maybe even a roamer, like the one that we're featuring on alltfl.com. Well, there you have it. A brand new, I can't believe I'm saying this, Lexus off-roader or overlander has been born. And I suspect you could put a rooftop tent up there. Now, 2 more important bits of information. You may be wondering, Roman, how much is this going to cost? Well, Lexus has not announced pricing yet, but the current GX starts at around $59,000. So figure this top trim is going to cost substantially more. Your guess is as good as mine. Now, you're saying to yourself, Lexus, take my money. I want this. You're going to have to wait a little bit because this won't come out until the start of next year. As always, this is Roman reporting for alltfl.com. Check that out to keep up on the latest and greatest in all car and truck news. See you guys next time. Ciao.